Hey, what's up? How is everyone doing today? And welcome back to another build tutorial, where today I'm going to show you how to build your own CURRYS tech store in Minecraft. Perfect place to buy all of your tech, including stuff like TVs, computers, appliances, and much more. And as always, before I start this tutorial, I'd really appreciate a little click on that like button, as it does help me out, and I'd highly appreciate that. But yeah, with all that said, let's start building. Here are all the materials that you will need for this build. And the plot of land you will need is 18 by 24 blocks. So first up, I'm just going to grab myself some smooth stone to begin with. And just where all of this purple wool is, I'm just going to replace all of that with the smooth stone. So just replacing the whole border here. Which will leave you with something that looks like this. And the next up, I am now going to grab myself some blue terracotta. And then if I just go to the front left corner, just there, on that point, I'm just going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks going up like so. And the next, I'm going to leave a gap of 4, place a block, leave another gap of 4, place another block, leave a gap of 4, and then place one more block on the end. And then I'm just going to extend each of these points up so they're all 5 blocks high in total. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So just place in 4 blocks on each of these points, like so, which will give us 4 pillars like this. And the next, if I head to the back, just at the back left, just over here, just from this point, I'm just going to place 1, 2 blue terracotta like so. And then I'm just going to build that up so it's 5 blocks high in total. And then I'm going to leave a gap of 3 and then place another 5 terracotta going up. And then from this top point here, just going to place 3 going across. And then I'm just going to extend this part of the wall all the way across to join over there. That'll give you a nice large blue wall there. And then just going to the other side, go into the back right corner. From this point, I'm going to place another bit of blue terracotta. I'm just going to build that so it's 5 blocks high in total, giving us a pillar. I'm just going to connect these 2 pillars together by building another large wall here, which will leave you with something that looks like this. At this point, you should have 2 walls on each side. And then just going to the back of the building here, sticking with the blue terracotta. From this point, just going to place a whole strip going across. And I'm just going to build that up so it's 5 blocks high in total, just so it's level with everything else. As you see now, things are starting to come together. And then just on this gap over here, just to the left hand side, I'm just going to grab myself some stone stairs. And I'm just going to place 3 on the bottom like that. And I'm just going to repeat that another 3 times. And that'll give us a large door, which will give people access to the warehouse area. And next, like going back to the blue terracotta, if I just go to the back, right, just over here. From this point, I'm going to count across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks. And then on that block, I'm going to place 1 bit of blue terracotta like so. And then I'm just going to build that up so it's 5 blocks high. And next, I'm going to leave a gap of 2 here. And then I'm going to place another 5 blocks going up. And then from that point, placing another 2. And then from this point, I'm going to place a whole strip going across like so. And I'm just going to build this up so it's the same height as all the other walls here. That'll leave you with something that looks like this. So next, let's get some of the floor filled in. So for the floor, you're going to need some grey concrete and also some grey wool. I'm going to create a little bit of a stripy pattern here. So starting with the grey concrete, I'm just going to place a whole strip filling in these gaps here. And then this will be followed by a whole strip of grey wool going across. And then going back to the grey concrete. Going along like that. And then again with the grey wool. As you see, we're just creating a nice little stripy pattern just there. And I'm just going to continue this going all the way up, just until I reach just before this doorway here. So by the end, the floor should be looking something like this. And then next, just moving into this other section here, I'm going to grab myself some polished andesite, and I'm just going to replace this grass area with all of it. Complete the other little bit of flooring here. And that will complete all of the floor for the ground level here. Next up, I'm now going to grab myself some more of this grey concrete. And then just from this point here, just going to place a block. And then I'm just going to extend that going all the way across just until I reach the other side like so. And then I'm just going to extend this concrete going all the way around the outer edge here. Just building the whole wall up by another layer. Just until I meet where I started there. And then sticking with the grey concrete, just from this point here, I'm just going to place a whole row going across. And then going back to the left, just from this point, I'm going to count across 1, 2, 3 on that block, placing a bit of grey concrete, and then I'm going to place another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks going along, just like so there. And then I'm just going to extend this point going all the way across until it reaches the other side. So that should leave you with something that looks like this. And then going to the left, I'm just going to leave a gap of 8. Then I'm going to place some more grey concrete there. So just to confirm, should be a gap of 8 there. And then from that point, placing another 2 grey concrete. And then I'm just going to fill in the rest of this area. Just go in all the way to the back here. Just like so. And then I'm just going to mirror exactly what I just did on the other side here. So again, I'm going to leave a gap of 8. Placing another bit of grey concrete there. And then extending that. And then I'm just going to fill in this other section here. Just like so. So if you've done this all correctly, you should end up with 2 gaps like so, which should be 3 by 8 in size. Next up, I'm going to grab myself some white concrete. And then starting from this point, I'm just going to place white concrete going all the way around the outer perimeter of the building here. So just placing all of that concrete until I end up where I started. So I'll leave you with something that looks like that. There should be a 1 block overhang going around the whole building. And then I'm just going to extend this front section out by another block. Just like so. And then going to the left, just going to place 1, 2 white concrete like so. I'm just going to extend this point by another 6 blocks going up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Just like so there. And then I'm just going to duplicate this on the other side. So firstly, placing 2 white concrete there. And then extending that up so it's 7 blocks high in total. So adding another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Just like so. And then just going to the left, just going to place another 2 white concrete at the top there. And then I'm just going to extend that across to the other side. Just to connect those 2 pillars up like so. Which should give you a nice large rectangle, just like that. And then sticking with the white concrete, just going to the left. Just going to place 1 bit of concrete there. And then I'm just going to follow where we place the white concrete earlier. So just extending that up by another block. Just like so. And I'm just going to repeat that process just until this whole white wall is built up so it's the same height as the top bit here. So I'm just going to build this up layer by layer. So by the end, you should end up with 3 large white walls like so here. Next up, going back to the blue terracotta. From this point, I'm just going to place a whole strip going across like so. And then going back to the white concrete. From this point, placing a strip of white going all the way to the other side, just like that. And then going back to the blue terracotta, I'm just going to extend this strip going all the way up to the top there. So that should give you a nice large wall there. Next up, I'm just going to finish off the roof here. So sticking with the white concrete, starting from this point, I'm going to place 2 blocks like so. And then I'm just going to extend this along all the way to the other side. To begin with, just like so there. And then going to the left, I'm going to place 3 white concrete like so. I'm going to do the same thing on the right hand side. And then I'm just going to extend each point going all the way across until I meet the back wall just there. That'll leave you with something that looks like this. And then going to the back, just to the left point here, I'm just going to place another 2 white concrete and extending that along all the way just until I meet with the other side there. And then going back to the front, I'm just going to leave a gap and then place 2 white concrete, leave a gap, place 2, and repeating that once more to give us 4 gaps like so. And then I'm just going to extend each of these points going all the way across until I reach the back there. So that'll leave you with something that looks like this. And then going back to the front, sticking with the white concrete, I'm going to leave a gap of 2, and then I'm going to place 3, gap of 2, place 3, gap of 2, and then place 3. So just doing that for this first gap here. And then I'm just going to repeat this in these other 3 gaps. Leaving a gap of 2 and then placing 3. So as you see, by doing that, we have now got some gaps to put our skylights in. For the skylights, I'm just going to grab myself some white stained glass. I'm just going to fill all the gaps up with it. And that will complete the roof. And then just going back to the front here, let's fill in these front windows. So I'm just going to grab myself some white stained glass panes. And firstly, just going to fill up the left gap with all of this glass here. Just like so. And then doing the same thing on the right hand side. That'll give us the 2 main windows at the front. And then next I'm going to grab myself some black stained glass panes. And I'm also going to grab myself a black stone wall. So with the black stained glass panes, starting from this point, I'm going to place 1, 2 glass like that. And then doing the same thing on the other side. And then I'm just going to place another 4 going up on the left. Followed by 4 on the right. And then with these polished black stone walls, I'm just going to place 1 wall above each bit of glass like so. And then I'm just going to place another 3 glass on top of each wall. Just like that. Which will complete the doors for the entrance. And then if we just go inside the building here, I'm going to add a door for the warehouse entrance. So for that, I'm going to add 1 bit of white glass, followed by a polished black stone wall, followed by another 2 white glass there. So that is all the doors added that we need. Next up, let's make the CURRYS logo. To start that process, I am going to grab myself some purple concrete. So for that, if I just go to the left here and from this point, I'm going to count across 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then on that 6th block, I'm going to place 1 bit of purple concrete. And then I'm just going to place another 3 blocks next to that to give us a row of 4. And then above that, I'm then going to place a row of 6. And then I'm just going to place another 3 rows of 6 on top of that. And then that will be followed by 4 at the top there, which will give us a circular shape like so. So next up, I need to add the text to spell CURRYS. So for that, I'm going to be using some banners. So for these letters, you're going to need 6 purple banners, 15 white dye, 6 purple dye, and a loom as well. So for the C, firstly, let's add the purple banner in, along with the white dye. Going to choose a top stripe, followed by a left white stripe, followed by a bottom stripe, and to finish off, purple border going all the way around there. That'll give us the C. And then for the U, purple banner in again, with the white dye. One stripe on the left, one stripe on the bottom, and then one stripe on the right. And to neaten that off is add another purple border like so. That will give us the U. And the next for the R, I'm going to place one stripe on the left, one stripe at the top, followed by a purple border. And there's going to be 2 R's, so I'm just going to repeat that process again. So stripe on the top, stripe on the left, followed by another purple border like so. And the next for the Y, purple banner in with some white dye. Going to add a diagonal white stripe to begin with. Then in with the purple dye, I'm going to choose this triangle like so. Then back in with the white dye. Going to add another diagonal stripe in the other direction. And then just to finish that banner off, I'm going to add a purple border like so. Oh, and just realised I'm going to need an extra 2 purple dye, so let's just grab them. So for the S, purple banner in along with the white dye, white stripe just at the top, followed by white stripe going diagonally across, followed by white stripe at the bottom, and then with the purple dye, I'm going to choose this fancy pattern here, and then to neaten that off, adding a border around, which will give us the S. And then if we just take all of these different banners here, just from this point, I'm just going to place all of them across to spell Currys, which will complete the main sign for our store here. And the next up, for a bit of extra decoration, I'm going to grab myself some spruce leaves. I'm just going to the left hand corner just here. I'm going to place 3 spruce leaves going across, followed by 1 in the middle, followed by 1 at the top left. And then I'm going to place 1 coming out there, followed by 2 drooping down. Just for a nice little bush for that extra bit of detail there. So next up, we're nearly finished with the exterior. I'm just going to add 2 more banners. So I'm going to be adding some little computer posters just for outside the store. So for one of these banners, you're going to need a white banner, 3 purple dye, 1 black dye, and 2 white dye. So you will need double the amount because I'm going to be adding 2 banners in total, but I'm just going to show you how to do one. So let's put the loom down, let's go inside, and firstly, in with the white banner, along with the purple dye. I'm just going to choose the middle stripe to begin with, and then this will be followed by the middle stripe in the other direction. And then next, if I go in with the black dye, I'm going to choose this top square like so. And then in with the white dye, I'm going to choose this bottom stripe just there. And then to neaten the banner off with this white dye, I'm going to choose a white border going all the way around. Oh, and looks like I don't need that extra bit of purple dye. So that's one of the banners, and then you'll just need to repeat that process another time to give you 2 banners here. So as you see, that'll give you 1 computer banner here, and you're going to need 2, so you just need to repeat that process one more time. And then once you have got 2 banners, I'm just going to place 1 on the left side of the door there, and then 1 just on the right side of the other door, like so. So sometimes things happen in a tutorial where I look at a design or something I've designed, and I realise that it could actually be even better. So an adjustment that I want to do with these banners, to make them look more like computers, if I put them back into the loom, I'm also going to grab myself some bone meal. If we just add an extra little stripe, oh, I keep forgetting that it's new Minecraft now. Just quickly grab some white dye. Then if I just put the new banner in along with the white dye, if I just add an extra stripe at the top there, as you see, that definitely looks more like a computer. So if you just edit those two banners, and then if we just put them back, oh yeah, they definitely look more like computers. But yeah, sometimes along the building process, I do end up improving things along the way. So with those banners done, all of the exterior is now complete. So now we can start getting the interior looking all nice here. So first up, I'm just going to add 2 escalators in here. So for the first one, firstly, I'm just going to grab myself some white concrete to begin with. So going to the left, just from this point here, I'm going to count across 1, 2, 3 blocks. On that third block, I'm going to place 1 bit of white concrete. And then I'm just going to place another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks going up. Just like so there. And then I'm going to leave a gap and just repeat this diagonal like so. So just mirroring that on the other side. And then I'm just going to repeat this on the other side. So if we go to this point, I'm going to count across 1, 2, 3 blocks. On that block, place a bit of white concrete. And then placing another 5 blocks going diagonally up. Just like so. And then again, leaving a gap and mirroring what we did, but on this side. Just like so. So that will create the main shapes for the escalators. And then for the actual stairs, I'm going to grab myself some black stone stairs. I'm just going to place 1 in between each bit of concrete, going up just like so. So I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. Just like that. And the next, I'm then going to grab myself some grey carpet. I'm just going to place 1 bit of carpet on top of each bit of white concrete. So just doing that on each side. And then for the top and bottom of the escalator, I'm going to grab myself some black carpet. I'm just going to place 1 at the bottom and 1 at the top. Again, doing that for each escalator like so. And then I'm going to grab some iron trapdoors. I'm placing 1 trapdoor next to each side of the carpet. Just like so. And the next, going to the back of each escalator, I'm just going to neaten it off by placing concrete going all the way along the back. Just like so. So let's just do that on the other one quick. And as you see, that'll just make them look a little bit neater. So next up, let's head upstairs here. So I'm going to add some extra walls in here. So firstly, from this point, just on the right, just going to place white concrete going all the way to the top. Then leaving a gap for the escalator, going to place another pillar of white concrete going up to the top. And I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. Just like so there. And then in each section, I'm going to place 2 white concrete like so, extending that across. And then starting on the left hand side here, I'm just going to place a strip of white concrete going along. And I'm just going to build this all the way up to create a large white wall here. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the other side as well. So from this point, placing a strip of white concrete going along and building it up, going all the way to the top. Just like so. And the next up, I'm now going to add some lights. So for the lights, I'm going to grab myself a chain and a lantern here. So first up, just going to this little section here, I'm going to place 1 chain in the middle of each set of skylights there. And below each chain, I'm just going to add a lantern like so. And then I'm going to place another 2 chains just in the middle of these 2 skylights here. Doing the same thing another time as well. And then I'm going to place an extra chain on the left and the right. As you see, I'm just placing these chains just so they're all evenly spaced in between all of the skylights. And then just below each chain, I'm going to add a lantern. Just like so. That'll complete the upstairs lighting. And then From this point here, I'm going to place a chain and another lantern, just for a light for the escalator. Do the same thing on the right hand side as well. So just in that middle point, chain and a lantern, just like that. So next up for the downstairs lights. So for that, you're just going to need lanterns. So starting from this point here, I'm going to count across 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to go up by 1, 2. On that block, I'm just going to place a lantern, then I'm going to leave a gap of 2, and then place another one. And then from this point, I'm going to leave a gap of 4, place another lantern, then I'm going to leave a gap of 2, and placing another lantern like so. And on the left, gap of 2, placing a lantern. On the right, gap of 2, placing another lantern there. And I'm also going to add some lights inside here. So starting from this point here, I'm going to count across 1, 2. On that block, placing a lantern underneath. Then I'm going to leave a gap of 2, place a lantern. Gap of 2, place a lantern. Gap of 2, place another lantern. Just like so. And that will complete all the lighting we need for the Currys store. So with all the structures finished in the interior, we can now start decorating this store. So first up, let's decorate the little warehouse storage area at the back here. So first up, I'm going to grab myself some smooth quartz to begin with. So if I just go to the back here and starting from this point, I'm just going to place 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks going up like that. And then I'm going to leave a gap of 4 and then place another 4 blocks going up. A gap of 4 and then placing another 4 blocks. Just like so. And then I'm just going to mirror this on the other side. So just doing the exact same thing. Just like so. And the next, I'm then going to grab myself some smooth quartz slabs. And then from this point, I'm just going to place 4 going along like so. And I'm just going to do that for each section. And then from that point, going up another block, I'm then going to place another 4. And again, doing that for the other shelves. And as you see, that'll give us a nice 2 layers to add loads of boxes and stuff on. So for the boxes, I'm going to grab myself some stripped birch wood, a stripped oak wood, and I'm also going to grab myself a light grey shulker box. So starting with the stripped birch wood, I'm going to place 1 here, leave a gap, place another one, followed by 1 at the top. Then I'm going to put an oak one next to that, and a grey shulker box there. Now I love using this strip wood as it kind of looks like cardboard to me, which I think works quite well. And then just going to the next bit, I'm going to put 2 birch just there, followed by another bit of birch in the top right, followed by a light grey box like so. And then moving over to the other side, I'm going to place some birch wood there, followed by some oak next to it, birch wood in the corner, followed by a light grey shulker box, followed by some oak wood just there. And then moving on to this final section, oak wood there, leave a gap, light birch in the corner, grey shulker box, and then finally oak wood. So now we've got all the boxes added, that is the warehouse storage area all done. Next up, moving on to the front desk area where you can pay and order all of your products. So first up, with these smooth quartz slabs, just from this point here, I'm just going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slabs going along like so. And then from this point, I'm going to count up 1. Then I'm going to place another row of 6. And I'm just going to add some more boxes. So to add a light grey shulker box there, some oak, some birch, more birch, some grey, and then some oak, like so. And then for a little storage cabinet here, I'm just going to grab myself some white shulker boxes, and I'm just going to put 6 just there. And the next up for a desk, I'm going to grab myself some light grey concrete. And from this point, I'm going to count down 1, 2, 3. On that block, place a bit of light grey concrete. And then I'm going to place another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks going along. And the next, I'm going to add some laptops here. So I'm going to grab myself a polished blackstone pressure plate. And on this third block, place 1, leave a gap of 2, place another one. And then I'm going to grab myself an iron trap door. I'm just going to place one behind each pressure plate. And then next up with a lever, I'm just going to place one underneath each iron trapdoor, flick them, and that will flick the trapdoors up like so. And next up, I'm then going to grab myself a painting, anyone will do here. I'm just going to place it in front of each trapdoor. And then for a little mouse, I'm going to grab myself a stone button. I'm just going to place one next to each pressure plate like so. So that'll give us some nice laptops there, which will complete the main front desk area. So next up, I'm going to place all of the cabinets, which all of the items for sale are going to be displayed on. For the cabinets, I'm going to grab myself some light grey concrete here. And then from this point, I'm going to count across 1, 2, 3. On that block, placing a bit of light grey concrete, and another one next to it. I'm just going to extend this across by another 1, 2, 3, 4 rows, just like that. So that will complete the first cabinet. And then if we head upstairs, starting from this point here, I'm going to count across 1, 2. Then I'm going to place a bit of light grey concrete. I'm just going to extend that going all the way to the back of the wall there. And then thickening that by one more. And the next up, leaving a gap of 2 here, I'm going to place another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 concrete going across. And then thickening that by one more. And then I'm going to leave a gap of 2. I'm just going to replicate this shape once more. Just like so. And then going to the right here, I'm going to replicate what we did on the left hand side there. So from this point, I'm going to place 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 light grey concrete going across like that. And then thickening that once more. And then if we go in the other direction over here, from this point, I'm going to place 2 light grey concrete. I'm going to place 2 on the other side. And I'm just going to extend both of these points going all the way across to the wall there. Just like so, which will complete all of the cabinets here. So with all the cabinets done, we can now start adding some cool bits of tech. So starting with this downstairs cabinet, I'm going to add some laptops onto there. So for them, I'm going to grab myself some blackstone pressure plates to begin with. I'm going to place one here and one over there. And then I'm going to grab myself a Bert sign. And I'm just going to put one sign behind each pressure plate. Just like so there. And then I'm also going to grab myself a blackstone button. For a little mouse. And I'm just going to put one on the right of each pressure plate. And the next up, I'm going to grab myself a painting. Anyone will do. And I'm just going to place one in front of each sign. Just like so. And as you see, that will complete the laptops here. Now, if you head upstairs, I'm going to show you how to create some cool kitchen appliances here. So for a microwave design, I'm going to grab myself a block of iron to begin with. I'm also going to grab myself some tinted glass, a stone button, and also some white carpet. For the microwave design, tinted glass there, block of iron on the right, followed by 2 carpet on top, followed by a little stone button there to turn the microwave on. That'll give us a nice little microwave design. And the next up, for an oven design, you're going to need a furnace, an iron trap door, a grey banner, some black dye. You're going to need 2 of that. You're going to need a loom. You're going to need an iron frame. And you're going to need another iron trap door as well. So for the oven, you're going to place the furnace down there, followed by iron trap door on top. And then, if we get the loom, we're going to create a little oven door banner. So for that, with the black dye, we're going to create a black border, followed by half a black square, just like that. I'm just going to shift and place that in front of the furnace, just like that. And then if I add an iron frame and an iron trap door, and if I just rotate that, that'll look like an oven handle. But as you see, just by adding that banner, it makes it look like a nice modern oven there. So next up, for a washing machine. So for that, you're going to need a block of iron and an iron trap door, as well as an iron frame and a glass pane. For this, leaving a gap, I'm going to place a block of iron down, followed by an iron trapdoor on top, item frame in front with some glass in the middle there. And that'll give us the washing machine just like so. And the next up, for a little air fryer design, I'm going to grab myself some polished black stone, some black carpet, and a tripwire hook like so. So leaving a gap, placing the polished black stone there, black carpet on top, and a tripwire hook just like so. And as you see, it looks like the handle of an air fryer. So that'll give us the air fryer there. So next up, let's move on to the television and speaker area. So for that, firstly, for the TVs, I'm going to grab myself some black concrete and some iron trapdoors. So for the TVs, firstly, from this point, I'm going to count up 2. From that point, I'm going to place one bit of black concrete, extending that so it's 4 long in total, and then heightening it by 1 more. And then on the top and bottom, I'm just going to add some iron trapdoors. So that'll give us a nice big 50-inch looking TV. Then leaving a gap with the black concrete, I'm going to place 3 just there, and iron trapdoors on the top and bottom for your more standard size of a TV, like so. And then below, I'm also going to add a speaker. So for that, I'm going to grab myself some grey wool, and I'm also going to grab myself a stone button. So let's place 2 grey wool just underneath the big TV there, and let's add a stone button on each side. And the next, for some headphones, or should I say AirPods, I'm going to grab myself an item frame, and I'm also going to grab myself some iron and gold boots. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place 2 item frames down like that, followed by gold boots upside down and iron boots upside down as well. So that looks like kind of like a nice AirPod design just there. And then I'm also going to grab myself a jukebox for a nice little music player design, and I'm just going to place that just there. That'll complete the TV kind of like audio section. So next up, for this middle section, I'm going to add a few other cool items here. So for that, firstly, I'm going to grab 2 item frames, some shears, and some... oh, and a arrow of invisibility. I'm going to place 2 item frames on the end here, and these shears are going to be like little clippers. And I'm also going to add a little arrow here, so it's like an electric toothbrush. So you've got a nice fancy toothbrush there. So some other cool gadgets there. And then next, I'm going to show you how to create a little e-scooter. So for that, I'm going to grab myself a grindstone, a smooth stone slab, a end rod, and an iron trapdoor. For the e-scooter, firstly, if I just get a temporary block, just at this point, just place a temporary block down. I'm going to place a grindstone going into that block on each side, so it'll look like wheels. Then we can get rid of that temporary block. And then in the middle, I'm going to add a smooth stone slab, and then that's going to be followed by an end rod and iron trapdoor, just like so. So that's a nice little e-scooter design there. And the next, I'm going to show you how to make a camera. So for that, I'm going to grab myself some wool, an item frame, a glass pane, some stone buttons, and I'm also going to grab myself a painting as well. So for the camera, I'm just going to place 1 bit of black wool down there. And for the lens, I'm going to add an item frame with a glass pane just there. And then for some buttons, I'm just going to place 3 buttons on each side, just like so. And then behind it, for the little digital screen, I'm just going to add a painting there for the camera. And then moving to this right hand section, I'm now going to add some other cool gadgets. So firstly, for a coffee machine design, I am going to grab myself some stone stairs. I'm going to grab myself an item frame and some cocoa beans. And I'm also going to grab myself a flower pot. So for the coffee machine, just on this point, I'm going to add a stone stair there, followed by an item frame in front with some cocoa beans. And then below, add a nice little flower pot to resemble a coffee cup just there. Next up for a kettle design. So for this, I'm going to get myself an iron block and 2 levers. So for the kettle, iron block down there, followed by a lever on top and a lever on the side. That'll give us a nice little kettle. And the next, for a fan design, I'm going to grab myself an end rod. And I'm also going to grab myself a waxed copper crate. I'm going to place the end rod there with the copper crate on top for a nice looking fan just there. And the next, for a hoover, I'm going to grab myself polished andesite stair, some tinted glass, and a lever. So I'm just going to place the stair down there, the glass on top, and a lever on top of that. And that'll give us a hoover. So next up, moving on to the more computery stuff. So starting here firstly, for a computer monitor design, I'm going to grab myself some stone stairs, some black concrete, and I'm also going to grab myself a backside pressure plate and a button. So I'm just going to add 2 stairs like that, followed by 2 concrete on top, which will give us a monitor. And alongside this monitor is also going to be a desktop and a keyboard and mouse. So for the keyboard and mouse, I'm going to grab myself a black stone pressure plate. And I'm just going to put it there with a button next to it for a mouse. And the next, for a desktop, I'm going to grab myself some black stained glass, some grey concrete, a stone button, and some grey carpet. So leaving a gap, I'm going to place black glass there, 2 grey concrete next to that, followed by 2 grey carpet on top, and a button like so. So that'll give us the desktop PC. And the next, I'm then going to show you how to create some more laptops. So same as what we did downstairs. Let's grab myself a black stone pressure plate to begin with. I'm just going to place firstly one just here, leaving a gap, and then placing another one. Then I'm going to grab myself some more of these black stone buttons for some more mouses. Let's just place them in the gaps. And then let's grab a painting. I'm just going to place one. Now this is where the specific paintings are quite handy, because then we won't have to worry about adding all these extra blocks to make sure we get them one by one. So I'm going to choose the meditative painting here. I'm just going to place these in front of each of the pressure plates there, which will give us the laptops like so. So moving on to the other side, I'm going to show you how to create some phones. So firstly, I'm just going to grab some item frames, and I'm just going to place 8 of these like so. And for a phone design, I'm going to grab myself 8 grey banners alongside 8 white die. And I'm also going to need a loom as well. I'm just going to create little phones by adding the grey banner and white die in. And then I'm just going to add 1 white border on each grey banner, which will give us a phone. I'm only going to show you on one of them, but you just need to repeat that for all the others there. And I'm just going to fill these item frames up whilst rotating them, just like so. And as you see, that'll give us little mini phones, just like so. It's being displayed there. I'm also going to add some more item frames just along here. There's going to be some phone cases there. So let's add some nice colourful phone cases. So again, I'm using some banners here. So let's add a purple one. Let's get a black one. Let's get a blue one. And let's also get a light grey one. And I'm just going to place these along like so. That'll complete the mobile phone area. And then moving on, I'm going to show you how to create a little PS5 design. So for that, I am going to grab myself some wool. Just going to place 1 bit of wool there. And then I'm also going to grab myself a white banner, followed by some black dye. Just 1 bit there. I'm also going to need a loom as well. I'm just going to put these in. I'm just going to choose the black stripe going down. I'm going to place that in front of the white wall, which will give us a nice little PS5 design like that. And in front, for a little controller, I'm going to grab myself another item frame and then And I'm also going to grab myself an iron helmet. Place the item frame down, iron helmet in there, as it looks like a game controller. So that'll give us the PS5. And then and I'm also going to be adding an Xbox here as well. So for the Xbox, I'm going to grab myself some black wool, a stone button, an item frame, and also a netherite helmet. So for the Xbox, 2 black wool just going up like that, stone button just in the front, and then item frame down with the netherite helmet in, just like so. And then on the end here, for some little phone handset designs, just going to grab myself 2 levers and flip them, just like so there. With the levers placed, that is all of the tech on display. Next, I'm just going to add some signs. So on the right hand side here, near this escalator, I'm just going to put no entry, like so, as that is the downwards one. And then next to the upwards escalator, I'm just going to put 2 products. Just like so there. And one final decoration I want to add to this store is a nice little carpet just in the middle. For that, I'm going to grab myself some light grey carpet, some purple carpet, and some white carpet. If I start from this point here, just going to place 1 bit of grey carpet there, another bit of grey carpet going diagonally down, and then go in across 2 and up 1, another bit of grey, leaving a gap, another bit of grey, go in across 2, down 1, another bit of grey like that. Moving to the purple, 1 bit of purple there, another bit there, another bit just down here, and another bit there. And then finally with the white, 1 bit here, 1 bit there, and 2 just on the end there. And that gives us a nice little rug design like so. So with the rug placed, that is the CURRYS store all complete. So next up, here's a little bonus part of the video for those on Java Edition and Creative Mode. So if you want to add a little bit of extra decoration to the store, you can use some custom heads. And I'll show you how to get them now. So if you head over to minecraftheads.com, there are lots of custom heads to choose from. Down here you can search for any head you want. So for example, I might want a camera. And as you see, there are loads of options here. So when you're on the page of the head you want, if you just go down here, you'll see a give code section, just like so. And then just choose the correct version of Minecraft you're in. And then if you just copy that, and then if you give yourself a command block by doing /give@p command_block, that will give you a command block. So if you place that down, and then just copy the code you got from the website in here, and then just get a button, activate the command block, and that'll give you a custom head. So that's how you get them. So I've got some custom heads here that I've selected. All the links to these heads will be in the description, so you can get all of the codes for yourself. So let's add all of these heads in here. So let's go upstairs, and firstly, let's add the camera head just there, and then let's add the kettle one here, just like so. And then let's add our PS5 over here, and then we can add the Xbox next to that one. And then let's replace these levers with a landline just there. But yeah, so heads is just another way that you can add a bit of extra decoration to the store. So I hope you did enjoy this tutorial, and I hope you are pleased with the final result. And as always, if you did enjoy, I'd really appreciate a little click on that like button, as it does help me out, and I'd highly appreciate that. And if you want to enjoy more building content from me, feel free to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any new tutorials and stuff. But yeah, so until next time, thanks for watching, and have a good day.